Hi, I'm going to show you how I make a sphere. I'm going to have a hole in the bottom too, so that this can be a decorative item that would go on a rod out in your flower bed. So it's going to be completely hollow, as I just showed you. My lump of clay is pretty much centered, so I'm going to go ahead and make my little divot and make my well, and I'm going to make my well all the way through to the black bat that you see here, because I want to be able to set this up on a rod out in a flower bed, because I don't know what else it would be for. The reason I like making these is because it's just such a satisfying shape to make. So I'm opening up the inside a little bit, and before it goes out of control, I'm going to slow my wheel down a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to make some pulls, making it taller, but I'm going to go up and narrow. Very much a volcano shape to begin with. If I let the top get too wide, it's going to be really hard to close it completely at the top in the end. So I have to keep in mind how wide I get it as I'm working it. And it's so easy to widen it up because my hand is in there right now, and that just made it get wider. So I have to make it narrower at the end of every pull. When I'm working down at the bottom of the clay, I'm focused on getting as much of this clay used as possible, but then I have to shift and rethink and focus on getting that top narrow. So I'm going to pull up a little bit more, and I'm really applying more pressure than before, because the goal is to close this in the end. So if I start creating that little bit of clay memory with a narrow opening, it's going to be easier to close in the end. But every time I put my hand back in there, it's going to have to widen back up. So now I'm going down in again. I want to narrow this base so that it looks like it's a complete round ball or a bowling ball. Widening in the middle, so my left fingers are pushing out in the middle while my right fingers are up at the top, kind of bringing that clay back in. It's all got to be done gradually. If you go try to do it too fast, you end up stressing the clay out, and it'll just go oval on you and want to collapse in on itself. I was in there and my fingers dried out, so I have to resaturate the entire interior right now. That's what I'm going to do with the sponge. There we go. So I've got just a weird curve right now. I need to go in and clean it up. I'm using my left fingers inside there to make it more sphere-like and not such a strange, sharp corner. Bring it a little narrower. Go back in there. There's a spot that just doesn't look right yet. There. It's getting there. A little better. The idea is not to use up all your clay at the top so that you have enough to bring in and close. So we'll see. We'll see how I did. Just applying pressure, using all the slurry that's on the surface to bring it together. It got a little crooked back when I told you it dried out on me when my hand was on the inside. So we're seeing that right now. I'm going to get rid of some of that. I don't want to get rid of all of it. I'm going to use some of it, but I'll get rid of that high spot. There's enough here, hopefully, that I can encourage it to go together. Just encouraging, gently, gently, gently encouraging it. There we go. So once you get it closed off, then there's air trapped inside there, and it's a little easier to shape and create that more spherical orb shape. When it's a little drier, we can always do a little finessing, but I'm playing with it maybe a little more than I should at this point. And then I don't like all that extra down there at the bottom, so I'm going to wet my wooden tool and cut some of this away, because that's too wide a base for it to be a sphere or a complete orb. I've got to be careful with this wooden tool. It's so easy to get caught, and then it just cuts right into the entire piece. So I've got that ring, that thick ring, cut loose. I'm going to pull it away. Oops. I think I cut it all the way loose. I'm going to try that again. There we go. Now I'll pull it away. And the more I clean it up now, the less work I have to do later when it's drier. I'm going to use a smooth blade, holding it as steady as can be. I don't want it to get caught on any dryness of the clay, and it is definitely dry down there. But if I add water, then I have to start cleaning it up again. So this is about being patient and gently finesse the surface until it's nice and clean looking. Use the squeezed out sponge. See if I can clean it up a little bit more. And when it comes down to it, I almost always end up using my fingers in the end. I swear they're my best tools. Okay. And anything else I can easily smooth out when it's drier and leather hard. There's my sphere. Thanks for watching.